my fellow readers, I'm back with another manga review, this time for A Witch's Love at the End of the World. Now, I was considering holding off on reviewing this because I will be getting the other volumes that are released, but I'm not sure if it's the end. So I didn't know if it mattered. I figured I'd just base my review off of volume 1. But potentially it's ending soon. I don't know. There are 3 volumes released, but I don't know whether or not there's going to be a 4th. I didn't get to read it. I will be getting those other ones because I did very much enjoy this, and I'm drawn into finding out what happens next. This series is by Kujira, and this I picked up because, hello, it's a fantasy. So this series centers around Mari, who just transferred into this school, and we can tell right away that there's something different about Mari. The other students seem to be holding her off a little bit. She's also kind of questioning what the teachers are saying, and so you know that this is kind of like somebody coming into an unfamiliar environment. And as the book progresses, you find out that yes, this is exactly what the case is. Mari is currently in a school for witches, and witches are seen as a complete other from humans. So since Mari really is a novice to this whole thing, she ends up getting paired with Alice. So the long-haired blonder girl is Alice, and Mari is this one over here. Alice is the top of her class, and she's the really studious student type that everybody relies on for, getting answers and all that jazz. And the headmistress believes that Alice will help, bring Mari up to speed. And at first they have a little bit of a clash because Alice feels like, why does she need to do this? Why does she have to be the one teaching the stupid girl? Which isn't really fair. She's not stupid. She wasn't raised with the other witches. But, as the two talk, they kind of get to know each other that way. But also, a big event occurs where Alice is going to teach Mari how to do this potion, and you're supposed to use a frog for it. Like you have to cut the spleen of a frog or something like that. And Mari really isn't about that. She doesn't want to hurt the frog, which I agree with you, Mari. I also would not be into using the frog. Although I don't think they had to kill the frog. I think the frog was already dead, which maybe I could do because I did do frog dissection in biology. I don't know, still gross. I'm still kind of more siding with Mari. So in her discomfort, Mari actually reveals her powerful magic that she has, and she resurrects the frog, and the frog comes back to life. And it's this revelation of power that sort of draws Alice in and starts to change things. But Alice also reveals this fear because her mother told her from the time she was young, I'm assuming, that she can't ever fall in love because if a witch falls in love, she loses her magic because their magic relies on the darkness, blackness of their heart. So they can't allow love in. So there immediately forms this tension where after Mari reveals her power, Alice is innately drawn to her. And I don't know if it's just because of who Mari is or if there's kind of a revelation that happens with the magic. I'm not completely clear on that. But whatever the case is, Alice is definitely drawn to her, but she won't allow herself to get that close because she doesn't want to lose her power. She likes being a very strong witch. And so immediately you get that dynamic set up where, okay, this is going to be one of those stories where the attraction is going to exist, but there are circumstances that are going to keep them from exploring that attraction. So it's kind of interesting. But on top of that, Alice now knows that Mari does have potential to be super strong. And meanwhile, the rest of the class doesn't know this. And they do not like Mari because, one, she never gets the answers right. She says things that are not normal for the witch's code. She doesn't ever display magical ability when they're doing their class lessons. And on top of all that, Alice is paying attention to her and has to tutor her, so they hate Mari. They hate her. They hate how close she is with Alice, especially. Like, they're so jealous of that because Alice was their person. So this kind of group of catty girls gets together and they make a plan. So one day, while Alice and Mari are working on some stuff out in the yard, one of the girls comes and says, Mari, the headmistress wants you. And Alice is kind of like, oh, that's weird because I thought she was doing whatever. And she's like, no, she needs Mari. So Mari goes off with the other girl. And it turns out to be a trap because, of course, it is. The girls have unleashed this demon that they want to have send Mari away. They don't care what happens to her, but get her far away. In the meantime, Alice runs into the headmistress who's trying to talk to her about something, but Alice is like, oh no, if you're here, then what's going on with Mari? So Alice gets on her broom and flies off to find Mari and makes it there just in time to grab a hold of Mari and get sucked into this portal. Meanwhile, the demon gets discovered, I think by the headmistress, like comes in and she discovers the girls and the demon character. And it turns out that the demon is actually the founder of the witches' school. And so they want to know why she's there, but also why is she a demon, if she really is one. And then we flash over to Alice and Mari, and they are in a different location altogether. And Mari says to Alice, I think I recognize this place. I think this is where I came from, which would be the human world. I never got to say that. I'm sorry. It is revealed that Mari was raised in the human world. I think she was half witch. I think she's half witch, half human. And I'm trying to remember if her mother was the witch and didn't want to raise her in that society, so she hid her away in like the human society. So she knows nothing of witch culture because she literally wasn't raised with witches or even knew that she was a witch. I think she had ended up resurrecting something and it revealed her power. And that's how she was discovered. And her mother felt really betrayed that she had been using this power of resurrection, and that she ended up having to go to this school. So Mari pretty much lost everything before going to the school. So I think it'll be interesting to see like how this plays out, where they ended up with, where the two girls ended up, but also what the founder of the school wants them to do, because the overall goal of the witches is to destroy the humans. Whereas Mari doesn't understand why they have to do that and why the two can't live in peace. And so I think that'll be interesting. Yeah, this one definitely had nice plot pacing, nice characters and character developments. And I love that whole circumstances to the relationship. Like, is it true that Alice would lose her witch power if she falls in love? And is that true for all witches? And if so, like how how do they deal in general? Like, do witches not form relationships? Like, do they have kids? But it's, because we all know you can have kids and no emotions are evolved. And that's what I'm kind of wondering. Like, do they breed, essentially, but not ever fall in love? Or was that just like a wives' tale that the mother told the daughter because maybe she had a bad relationship? I don't know, but I'm so intrigued by that, and I'm definitely picking up the other volumes. I want to read it. Yeah. I love fantasy stories. I love witches, so this was a yes for me. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see what happens next. And that is it for this video. Until next time, bye.